Hey, so today we're going to be talking about bleeding the clutch on a W204 chassis Mercedes. I've already got the car jacked up, as you can see here, so I'm going to try to go underneath the car now, and I'm going to show you where the bleeder is for the slave cylinder on these manual transmission cars, because there doesn't seem to be much info out there about it. Okay, so here we go. As you can see, that's what it looks like there when you first come up on it. It's that square bit there, and you just have to sort of push it and work it around to get it back in. But yeah, that's it. Okay, so that's the one cap that goes on top of the bleeder there. Hopefully we can get a little bit of focus here. That's the bleeder valve right there, and I'll show you the cap that it's underneath it. But this is on the passenger side, so I'll try and... So this is like the underpan there for the transmission. Up just along the right hand side here, that's where that bleeder valve is. And oh, trying to scratch my lens up here. It's tough, there's not a lot of room. So there's the drain plug and the fill plug up in there for the transmission. But that bleeder valve is just right there in behind all these clips for those connectors and stuff like that. Like I say, you can see the oil pan there, and you just have to take off this back pan from the engine. You can see the driver's side cat there, and the other one's over here. I can't quite show you, but yeah. So that's where the bleeder valve is. Okay, so I just want to take a minute here and show you my bleeder bottle. This is going to be the same type of bleeder bottle that you'd use for bleeding the brakes. Exactly the same type of concept. Go look at any of Chris Fix, his videos on bleeding brakes. It's going to be exactly the same procedure for this. You just drill a big hole that your hose will fit through, and a little vent hole there, and you put it in. And I also put a zip tie sort of on the bottom there to sort of hold it so that if there's any weight on it, it can't pull out. And I'm going to put a little bit of brake fluid in this, because this calls for W204+ for the clutch as well as the brake system. Uses the same. Oh yeah, that's the other thing. The master cylinder on these, it's all the same for the brake system. It just takes a separate line off for the clutch. Okay, so I just wanted to quickly show you how I rigged this up. So you can see I got my wrench on there on the bleeder valve. Of course, I forgot my flashlight before I crawled under the car, so it could be a little bit dark. But I've got the so the wrench that goes on the bleeder valve. It's 9mm, kind of a little bit of an odd size compared to everything else, but whatever. So 9mm, and then I stuck the hose on there, and the hose runs over to my bottle. That I didn't have a whole lot of old fluid, .4 fluid, so I sort of leaned it a little bit and hung it up on that one mount there, so it should stay. So the procedure is going to be as follows. We're going to crack that bleeder valve open, just like a quarter turn or whatever, then go pump the clutch probably about 4 times, and then come back, close it off, and see where we're at. And you want to make sure that you have plenty of fluid in your brake master cylinder there, the reservoir, because you don't want that running dry. Mine's pretty much full, and you should top it back up to where it was. Yeah, so I'm going to crack this open and go up top and give the pedal a few presses, and we'll see if we can get this air and junk out of the system. So about 3 pumps, and we'll see how that does. Okay, so now we got a clutch that's nice and smooth. Okay, so just a couple things here to wrap this up. I had to modify my hose a little bit here to get it to work properly. It was sucking a little bit of air back in, so I just found a little smaller tubing that was more flexible. Put it on there and put a zip tie on just to make sure it was secured. Worked great once I did that. I put a little bit of liquid electrical tape on there just to sort of make sure that at this joint it wasn't going to draw any liquid back in, but I don't know if you'd really need that, as long as you sort of get it so there's no air in about this portion of the hose here. yeah, you should be good to go. So it's been probably about a month since I did that, and clutch is working great, nice and smooth. I still sort of have the issue when I'm driving for like, you know, maybe like 45 minutes or more on the highway on these really hot days. It still gets a little bit stiff, so next thing that I do with a brake bleed, once I put some high temperature fluid in there, we'll see if that solves the issue, or I kind of suspect it might be a bit of an issue with the slave cylinder in there getting gummed up, but I'm not going to replace it. It's a minor annoyance, and after doing this clutch bleed, you know, a few presses, even after things are nice and hot, it comes right back, so no big deal. So that was it. This wasn't meant to be a complete do-it-yourself guide. I just wanted to give you a couple little pointers to sort of set you in the right direction. Like I say, go watch that Chris Fix video on bleeding your brakes. That'll give you all the necessary information that you need to try and attempt something like this, and you'll sort of figure it out as you go. There's a few little tricks to doing it, but I'm sure everybody's sort of going to have their own method for doing that, and it shouldn't be a big deal for you to figure it out. This is a pretty simple thing to do, okay? So we'll see you later, guys. Onward we go.